Everyone always says, to improve, you've got to start thinking in English, but how? How do I do that? Today, I've got some tips for you that are going to help you start thinking in English and stop translating. So, let's get cracking. Alright mate, how's it going today? I'm doing pretty well, thanks for asking. If you're new around here, my name is Dan and I'm here to help you stop being an English student and start being an English speaker. Now in this video, I've got some tips for you that are going to help you to start thinking in English, which is good because you'll stop translating and you'll be able to communicate more efficiently in English. But before we get into all that good stuff, I want to remind you there's a free downloadable cheat sheet that you can get using the link in the description right now. It's got everything you need to know from today's video so you can review and remember this stuff for longer, so get it now. Right then, let's talk about the problem, shall we? First of all, what usually happens for language learners is they hear something in English, then they translate the words they heard into their native language, right? Then they'll think about what they want to say in their native language, and then they'll translate that sentence into English, and then they'll speak. Now, this is super inefficient. It takes a long time to do all of this translating stuff. It's also difficult because, you know, maybe you don't understand a word that you heard. How can you translate that into your native language? Also, in your native language, you know loads of words that you don't know in English. So how can you translate everything you think in your native language back into English? You can't, right? It's too hard. It takes too long, too much effort. Don't do it. Now, this all sounds great, but it's not like there's just a switch that I can just click, okay, now I'm just going to think in English. Doesn't work this way. It's like anything in life. You have to start small and work your way up over time. Like when you're a baby, right? Imagine this. You're a little baby, you know, and you don't just suddenly then run a marathon. Like there's a few steps between baby and marathon, right? You know, first you turn over, then you learn to crawl, then you learn to stand up, and then you learn to walk, and then eventually, you know, Usain Bolt. Doesn't really work overnight. And this is the same thing. So I suggest we start small. What I want you to do, look around the room that you're in. Now, unless you're in prison, there's going to be loads of stuff around. Just think, what is that thing called in English? You know, over there we've got a window. It doesn't matter that in Japanese that's mado. It doesn't matter. I just need to know what that thing is in English. You know, we've got a window, we've got a camera, we've got a microphone, we've got a light, we've got a glass of lemonade, we've got a remote control, we've got a load of stuff in the room right now, and we're going to use this stuff to practice. I want you to get into the habit of looking around the room and in English thinking about what each thing is called. Just focus on nouns, right? Once we've got used to doing this every day in every room that we're in, I want you to then start trying to add a verb into this equation, right? It's not just window, we have open the window or close the window. It's not just glass of water, lemonade, it's drink the water, lemonade. Delicious. So start with just the nouns that you can see, then start combining it with basic verbs and get used to doing this in your head all the time. Now, before we move on to the next one, I've got a little request. What I want from you today. If you're enjoying this video, please smash that thumbs up button for two reasons. One, it'll make me happy, which is great. And two, it'll let YouTube know that this video is cool and they should recommend it to other people and the channel will grow, and that will also make me happy. So actually, there's just one reason. You'll make me happy. So please smash the thumbs up button and yay. Now, another big problem people have with this translating thing is that they don't always know the word in both languages. When that happens, what are you going to do? So one thing I'd like you to start practicing is at the end of every day, just take 5 minutes or so and think of a word in English. For example, let's say garage. Garage, you know, the part of your house where you park the car, right? And I want you to take this word and imagine that you don't know the word garage. It's disappeared from your head for whatever reason. What I want you to do is practice describing garage without using the word garage, right? And the way that we do this is first we use 5W1H, you know, who, what, why, where, when, how. 5W1H. Use these words to help you organize your thoughts in English about this word. You know, what is it? It's a building. Where is it? It's next to my house. Why is it? Well, I put my car in it. Ah, you mean garage. Okay, cool. You can also use expressions like, it's similar to a house for a car. Or you could use like, it's the opposite of outside car. Maybe not in this case, it's not great, but expressions like it's similar to or it's the opposite of will really help you explain what something is without using the word that we're actually trying to express. So far, we've practiced thinking about individual nouns that we can see. We've also practiced combining it with basic verbs, and we've practiced describing words that we don't know when it comes to thinking in English. So now it's time to take it to the next stage, and that is to expand into full sentences and conversations. And there are a few different ways that you can do this. The first thing that you can do is look around. Like, let's imagine you're sat in the park, you're on the park bench, and you're looking around, and I want you to try and make sentences about what you can see. Maybe there's a woman and she's walking her dog. The woman is walking her dog. Maybe there's some kids playing basketball. The children are playing basketball. Just look around and start to make sentences in your head, even if they're very basic at first. Just get used to kind of narrating what you can see. Narrating, you know, when somebody describes what's happening in a movie or something. Start practicing describing what you can see and making sentences in your head. Another thing you could try is at the end of the day, spend 5 minutes thinking about what happened to you today in English and making basic sentences. You know, I woke up at 7 o'clock. I took the train to work. I ate spaghetti for lunch. Whatever, just spend 5 minutes making some sentences about your day in English. Good stuff. And the other thing you could try is having a conversation with yourself in English. I do this all the time in Japanese. Now, I'm not suggesting you actually speak. If you're at home, sure, talk to yourself in English, right? But don't do it on the train or, you know, something in a public place. You're just talking to yourself. People might think you're a bit... But, you know, in your brain, just to yourself, have a little back and forth conversation. You know, it doesn't have to be anything serious. Just, this is good because you're practicing both the person A and the person B side of the conversation. And you can do it about anything. Maybe you could be something like, do you want to grab some lunch? Yeah, I can eat. What are you thinking? Well, we could try that new pizza place that opened around the corner. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Do you think it'll be busy? Probably we should try and make a reservation or something. Okay, well, I'll try and make a reservation on my phone then. Easy, right? Now, if you start doing this stuff every single day, I think you'll be surprised at how quickly you start to improve in English. That's the real key here. Showing up and doing it consistently every single day. Now, that's probably the best advice I can give you about English in general. And that is study every day. But it's quite difficult to do that, right? So what I suggest you do is check out this video over here where I'll tell you all about my daily study schedule and how to make the most of your study time.